Okay, so let's begin. Today we are meeting for hierarchy of needs, and the hierarchy of needs demonstrates how we save time and energy when we approach improving our health and longevity. The purpose is to assess instead of guess. We use it as a framework to create a list of low-hanging fruits and areas of most need. We then prioritize these areas and address them first. How did we create the hierarchy of needs and the methodologies contained with it? It's a combination of the latest evidence-based research and analysis of where traditional fitness and healthcare have shortcomings in their approaches, and what we have seen to be successful in working with hundreds of clients from around the world. What the hierarchy is not is a specific sequence of progression of 1 to 3. Instead of it's a framework that guides our decision making on what clues we should be focusing on. The same way a detective places pieces of evidence on the bulletin board before forming a hypothesis. The hierarchy of needs will allow us to establish a list of priorities and form our functional diagnosis that we use to create our plan. Too often, we see the clients who are dealing with pain resort to mobility drills, when mobility may not even to be the problem. Too often, we see the client who are dealing with pain resort to I'm still saying, but that mobility isn't the problem, or they've been told that getting stronger is the solution. When we often find they are really missing stamina instead. Getting rid of pain and injury and moving from sickness to wellness can be really complicated and overwhelming. Okay, are you following everything?
Yes.
Okay, so it's clear for you what I'm sharing with you?
Yes.
Okay, so the hierarchy helps us by taking the guesswork out of the equation and providing certainty where it currently doesn't exist. Assess and don't guess, that's our motto. By using the hierarchy of needs, we create a plan that sets us from success and solves some of the most frustrating and complex problems that have existed for weeks, months, years, or even decades. Let's take a look at it. Recovery and capacity balance. So let's put that here into the triangle. So it will be recovery.
Do you want me to ask questions if I have any?
Yeah, you can ask, of course.
Okay. I don't have any yet, but I thought if you
Yeah,
want me to ask, like a client might ask questions.
of course. Ask the
Okay.
client, ask the questions, of course. So the first is our foundation, and this is recovery and capacity. Like in any hierarchy, we have to start with a base. The base of hierarchy is recovery and capacity balance. Here we are going to begin asking questions like this. How much are you working? Yes, so this is the question for you. You can think about it. And how well are you recovering? Because this is the base, yeah? This is the foundation of what we are sharing here. The next question is your body handling the demands of life, stress, and training in such a way that you're making clear progress? Think about it for a moment. And before we even begin to consider how well you move or how strong you are, we want to address factors such as diet, sleep, nervous system regulation, and even your current mental state. Okay, so is it clear here?
Yes.
So let's make this crystal clear. Without appropriate sleep habits, nutrition, attitudes, and stress responses, we end up somewhere between a hamster wheel and grueling uphill battle. Yes, addressing the issues that influence our ability to sleep well, eat well, and respond to stress skillfully can be the hardest thing a person even ever does. The good news is that these things are under our influence if we choose to take responsibility. The changes we can make to the way we move and feel are enormous. We won't recognize ourselves if we stay the course and choose the right thing over the easy thing in the moment. We are shifting from living habitually to living intentionally for long enough that we can create new habits so we can spend almost no energy doing the right things. An important concept to grasp around this is that stress plus recovery equals adaptation. What is crucial to understand about this is that stress is neither good nor bad. It simply is. It's up to us to choose what stressors we want to expose ourselves to in order to create the adaptations that we are looking for. For example, if you crane your neck forward for hours like this every day to better see that's on your computer screen, your neck will adaptively stiffen in certain position that resemble that you are asking of it every day. Yeah, if I will be sitting straight or standing straight, it will adapt like this. Our job is to help you balance the right kind of stress with the right kind of recovery. Too much stress without adequate recovery, whether in training or in life, might lead us to us feeling the side effects of pain, injury, plateaus in performance, and low energy levels. On the other hand, not enough stress and too much rest might produce a similar result of little to no progress and the frustration that follows. The most important piece to take from this section of the hierarchy is this. From the start and throughout the journey, we have to determine the appropriate amount of stress and recovery required for us to make progress in an intentional direction. So I hope that it's clear, very clear for you. And improving your hip range of motion shouldn't be our priority if you've been training 7 days a week for 2 years straight. If you didn't catch a problem there, this could be you. This could be you and the load. Training 7 days a week over the long term is an ineffective strategy and could be the cause of your problem. Let's address your training volume first before looking at your hip range of motion. The pain in your lower back when you're squatting might have less to do with your spine or tense muscles, and more to do with the fact you've been sleeping 5 hours a night and aren't moving much outside of the training you're doing in the gym. Balancing intentional stress with recovery in order to build capacity is crucial to success, both today and moving forward, and if done well, allows the other piece of the hierarchy to fall into place. That's how we came for the second. The second is flexibility. Moving up to hierarchy, we begin to look more specifically at the movement. Flexibility is defined as passive range of motion with gravity or an external force. Is the potential for a joint to move. An example of flexibility would be the pushing my finger back like this. So you see that it is not holding. This is flexibility. My finger is this flexible. It has end range if I'm not getting to be able to actively move it further than that. You're likely to say that strength is gained in the range it's trained. So clients with limited flexibility can't train through a full range of motion. If you don't have necessary flexibility to get into position, then you cannot train in the same positions. Therefore, you cannot be strong in those positions. Okay, just sip of the water. Furthermore, you become more likely to be injured when your body has to get into those positions with training. For someone with arthritis in their hip, the hip joint might not move very well. The simplest solution to the problem might be to not have them squat deeper than what their body anatomy allows for. On the flip side, we also see the clients with full flexibility who have been stretching and mobilizing their joint to improve their pain. In this scenario, the mobility drills are not addressing the problem. And now, as a result, we are costing ourselves time, energy, and resources that we will never get back. In addition, we might be worsening our issues. When we are assessing for flexibility, we are asking the question, do you have the potential to get into those positions? Again, this is passive range of motion. So that's how we go for the third part, which would be mobility. The other component of movement is mobility. Okay, so you see that clearly on the screen, right?
Yes, yeah, I
Okay.
can see it great.
Perfect. So if flexibility is passive range, we can consider mobility as an active range of motion. Mobility is your ability to use some strength to access as much of your flexibility as possible through active ranges of motion. My finger is this flexible, but is that mobile? So if flexibility shows you the potential for the joint to move, mobility shows you the potential to intentionally access the range of motion with your own strength. You will rarely see somebody's mobility exceed their flexibility. In some cases, active engagement through a range of motion can feel more comfortable than passively being taken through that range. But the total availability of range of motion remains the same. So do you understand everything here?
Yeah, I think so. So flexibility is like just stretching, kind of like what I can do if I'm
Exactly. It's something what you
make
do,
myself. Go ahead.
something what you do passively.
Passively, okay. And mobility is, what does it mean? Like I can access it with my own strength. What does that mean?
It's like you control, same like with the finger, yeah? It's when
Yeah.
you control, it's same like when you control every joint. So it's same like you go to the deep squat position and you control it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
You can be flexible and you couldn't access to the full squat position without, for example, tilting your pelvis.
Okay. Okay, I think I understand that better. Thank you.
Welcome. So what we want to know is this: how much of your total flexibility you can intentionally, actively access. If somebody lacks the requisite flexibility to get into a position, they are not going to be able to get into certain positions to move, lift, or train. If somebody lacks the appropriate mobility, they won't be able to access and control the range of motion they have. Adding load in many cases makes this especially true. When you look at the flexibility and mobility together, we realize our movement potential. Here's a simple example. If Susan wants to squat, or any other woman, let's say it's Susan, we can start by having her lie down and check whether or not she can raise her knee toward her chest so that her thigh comfortably touches her rib cage. If she can, Susan has enough flexibility in her hips to squat. That doesn't mean she can squat effectively. We have seen people who have enough flexibility to squat who absolutely cannot get to the bottom position. Why not? They might not have enough mobility to get there.
Mm.
You're not going to bend it up, lacrosse ball it, stretch it, and hope for the best. It's an active problem that a passive solution won't fix. On the other hand, maybe someone's joint doesn't have the potential to squat. Strengthening a limited range of motion will do nothing to improve their range of motion. So I think that helps with your question, right?
Yeah, it makes sense now.
Okay.
You have to have the full range of motion and as much active control over that
Exactly.
range of motion like in order to do things safely or get stronger safely. Is that
Yes, exactly.
okay?
So we are now starting to see movement in a different light and are able to assess your effectively and get to the root cause of the problem. You're not longer guessing. It's also more clear that many common fixes might work for some people, and they are trying them is equivalent to throwing something at the wall and finding out if it sticks. A lot of people might know their 1 rep max squat or 1 rep max deadlift or bench. Those are common tests in the fitness and strength and conditioning realms. We want to get even more info, more details, and to become more granular if we are doing to get more clear on why your body is not performing as you would like it to. And this is exactly what you've been talking, like access to doing things. Then the next thing is strength balance. Strength balance. This is where strength balance comes in. We have a lot to discover. Let's put it, yeah. We've got a lot to discover about you when you check things like the following. How many high pulls can you perform on your left versus right side? How do you press in comparison? How well do you perform a squat pattern versus a hinge pattern? How about right to left? Is the back of your joint as strong as the front? Can you pull as well as you push? What about strength versus stamina? Are you much better at moving something heavy once or twice than you are moving something light many times, or the other way around. We want to know how well your joints absorb, transmit, and produce force in all directions. We want to know what you do well and what you do poorly. This clues us into our greatest opportunity for improving your function. By looking at strength balance and collecting quantitative measurable data, we gain another layer of understanding. Okay, so this is strength and balance. Then we go to the skill motor control. When we examine skill and motor control, we put the pieces together, beginning to perform complex movements with competency, quality, form, and technique. Everything else has been checked out. Our lifestyle factors are understood and purely managed. We have full flexibility and mobility, and there is balance in strength and stamina. When it comes to skill and motor control, the focus needs to be on getting more reps, practicing the movement, and getting more exposure to the demands of the task. Jumping to the motor control and skill as the first examination can be a mistake. For example, we've seen clients who are learning to squat in the gym and they look like a baby giraffe learning to walk for the first time. You may have experience with that yourself too. Slowly and surely, they improve. And for sure, those who have full range of motion, strength, capacity, and stamina, they tend to progress quicker than those who don't. By starting from the bottom and moving up, we are able to set ourselves up for success without having to guess why problems are arising. We can identify what might become a problem and solve it for it before it occurs. All intentional movement from breathing to sprinting to lifting requires a level of skill that takes focus, repetition, and time to improve. As we stay consistent in our practice, focus, and tackling the right problems, we use tools and drills that have been proven they work time and time again. This process become much more effective. And the hierarchy is going to give us our low-hanging fruit, which will help us create our functional diagnosis of what is going on and what we are going to do about it. For too long, we have seen clients try again and simply never see results. We need to create the correct solution for the correct problem. No amount of passive therapy will solve a strength balance issue. No amount of thinking about proper technique will fix a flexibility issue. No amount of stretching will solve a painful joint that has a full range of motion. No amount of strength work will help pure balance between stress and recovery. This hierarchy and framework will be a constant reference point that will guide our decision making throughout the coaching journey. By constantly referring back to it, we can work together to find the correct focus that will provide us with clarity, confidence, and success. That's it. That's our hierarchy.
Okay.
Have you got any question about it? Or it's clear here?
Most of it's clear. I can ask questions if it's helpful to practice for you.
Okay, so let's do it then.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you for this.